Welcome back to Green Living with Tea. We are going to have a great conversation today. Number one, it's a fabulous product that I can't wait for people to hear about. Number two, I love supporting women-owned businesses. We all love to support each other. But it's also important to understand that our food industry potentially is making us sick. And why is it making us sick? Maybe from you know, bio engineered foods, diet decisions that you possibly are making. But today we're talking about flour, and that would be Italian and European flour. And why flour? Well, we'll get into that with Cindy Anderson, who is the founder of Manny's Choice and the company behind the Good Gluten. And after surviving breast cancer and struggling with severe gluten intolerance, Cindy discovered she could enjoy food again when using clean European flour. It is inspired by that experience, and she created Manny's Choice to help others enjoy real food without the discomfort often associated with modern wheat products. And her mission is to challenge the conversation around gluten and explore how processing, additives, and food quality may actually be the more may actually be impacting your gut health and your overall wellness. And Cindy holds a degree in dietetics, nutrition, and an MBA in entrepreneurial studies, and brings more than 30 years of business experience, including building 3 successful companies. So today, Manny's Choice is the only U.S. brand crafting baking mixes and pantry staples using clean European flour, real ingredients without the bleaching agents, the bromates, the gums, fillers, and all these different unnecessary additives that are added to flour, specifically in the United States. And she is very passionate about helping people reconnect with food, supporting their gut health, which I talk about a lot and is so important, and bringing joy back to the table and back to cooking. Because in the United States, I feel like our flour is just horrible here. I know I've been over to Italy many times. My sister, who has gluten intolerance, could eat all the bread she wanted to over in Italy and never got sick on
Yep.
anything, pasta, you name it. So here we are, Cindy. You have such an incredible story, and welcome to my podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I absolutely love what you're doing and your message and all the information you're bringing to people. Let alone your whole other deal with helping, clean the houses and the environment of the chemicals. I mean, it's so important.
It is
So
so
thank you.
important. You're welcome. It's so important. And, I every day I hear of somebody that has cancer. And I do this not only because people have cancer, but to try to help people open up your eyes to what could be causing cancer, what things you could possibly avoid, illnesses, I mean, the list goes on. I feel like our country is just so sick, and it's partially our food and partially our environment and partially the products that we use. And that's why I do it. So thank you for mentioning that. It's my true passion, and it has been my whole entire life, thanks
I
to
love it.
our mom who brought us up this way. So if she were alive, she would be like, that is the flour I want to use, because she's Italian, was Italian.
Oh my goodness.
And everything was, that is why we were brought up the way we were, because of her Italian and Lebanese for that matter, but background and
Okay.
upbringing, and everything was from scratch, and everything was good products, good everything, not all this junk that has come on the market in the past 2 decades. So
Yeah.
you unfortunately found out the hard way, and and now you have this product. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your background and how you actually had to fight through cancer? And then here's Manny's Choice, which Manny, by the way, Cindy is a big dog lover, as everybody knows. I am too. And Manny's was a dog of hers that she also helps rescue dogs. So take it away, Cindy.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so the whole journey kind of, of course, things in your life just kind of compound your meaning and your purpose. And for me, it really started even when I was a kid. I mean, I would volunteer to mow the lawn so I would get, more muscles and be healthier. So I've always kind of had a natural element of health and wellness. And like you said, I did go on to get my bachelor's degree in nutrition. However, after that, things kind of, got caught up in life. And I was actually in construction for 15 years, one of my companies. And it wasn't until, yeah, one of my rescue puppies, he got super, super sick, started having horrible seizures. And the vet, like literally to the point, said, the next one could be the last. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Mm.
And something just snapped in me. And I just said, stop everything. We're stopping all of his medicine, all the pharmaceuticals. I'm stopping all of his food. And I just started feeding him organic, clean, free range. I mean, I was diving into everything, hormones and the meat I was giving them, every as clean as I could. And I don't, whatever snapped and said, I just need to do this. And I did. And sure enough, within a week, his seizures stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Oh,
that was
praise.
a huge eye opener, obviously to me, like, what am I doing being busy and, grabbing, fast food or processed foods or whatever it is. Additionally, right after that, like you said, I was diagnosed with breast cancer and severe gluten intolerance in the same week.
How
So
old were you at this point? Just out of curiosity.
I think I was 42.
Okay, so
Yeah.
young, as you are
Yeah.
still young, but that's
Yeah,
young.
thanks. Yeah, I was 42. So I was pretty young to get a breast cancer diagnosis. The type of breast cancer I have, I guess the average person usually gets it 15 to 20 years older. So they were pretty surprised. And I'd been really sick for about a year and a half prior. And, just horrible autoimmune and arthritis sort of symptoms and just all kinds of horrific, just in tears going to the doctor, going, help, something's wrong, something's wrong. Oh, this test didn't show anything. This test didn't show anything. Well, then I finally got the diagnosis of the severe gluten intolerance, which was inflaming my body so much
Mhm.
by eating the wheat products I was eating. And so that kind of that was an eye opener for me going after I saw feeding my puppy Manny all his clean food and he healed quickly right in front of me. My dietetic background, now what I'm facing with the breast cancer and the severe gluten intolerance, I started looking at the labels again and going, I need to pay attention to what's going in my body. And okay, now I'm gluten intolerant. I can't eat wheat. Oh my gosh. So I started looking at the gluten free labels and so many of those have chemicals and additives and gums that you can't pronounce. So I'm going, this isn't real food. I don't feel safe putting this in my body, to help fight the cancer and everything else. And that scared me. I was afraid that some of those at some point in time are going to show that they're carcinogenic or other, have other issues because they're not real. So much of the ingredients are not real food pure ingredients. And so I started doing research. Yeah. And so, I started thinking like, I wasn't sick 5 years ago. My parents don't get sick from American wheat. My grandparents don't get sick from American wheat. So what's going on? And it took me about a year and a half to actually contact a supplier where I could get clean, pure European wheat because frequently it's mixed with North American wheat or it may say product to Italy, but actually it's 100% European wheat or it's 100% North American wheat. And so lo and behold, I finally
Wait, even if it says product of Italy, because you think that
product to Italy, number one brand in Italy. There's all kinds of ways
to
that
get
they with
around it.
marketing that they'll get around it. And there has been like there was a pasta company that was recently sued because their marketing was completely descriptive of being, product to Italy and all of this. And actually their factories, their wheat, everything is in the US.
Wow.
And so, but it pretty much takes like a class action suit in order to get, the marketing and stuff changed. Kind of that's a whole nother gamut why that whole industry marketing and the food labeling and stuff like that is the way it is.
Yeah.
Some of it's good and some of it's not. But yeah, so I finally found a product that was actually clean, and lo and behold, I didn't get sick. and I gave it to my friends and family, and they didn't get sick. And not only did we not get sick, but we felt fabulous afterwards, felt like healthy and clear minded. And yeah, it was just like a whole different world. So yeah, between my little pup getting sick, and seeing, going back to kind of my education and seeing like how clean food and without chemicals or processing and all of that really affected him, helped to lead me, once my diagnosis happened, onto my journey and where I needed to be. And now with the Manny's Choice products.
Wow, isn't it fascinating? It started with the dog, then it ended up
Mm-hmm.
with you, and now we have Manny's Choice. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So the flour is from Italy?
So our flour is European. And so right now, like our flour is Italian and German blend. So we purposely have it being a European flour in case like there's a natural disaster
Mm.
or tariffs or something get crazy high in one country. It's all the super high European standards of farming practices and milling and all of that. But it doesn't necessarily come from Italy right now. Like I said, our blend is Italian um, and German. So our priority is having it be the high European quality and then the protein content. So, like we mentioned before, it's a 12% protein, which makes it a true all purpose flour. So, therefore, like it works for everything like cookies, croissants, pizza, you name it. And so I didn't want to have to bring like three types of flour over and have people, have all these pantry items. I wanted to make it as simple as possible, as clean as possible, as versatile as possible. And so that's kind of our criteria for what goes into our flour, where we get it from. And so a lot of that, of course, depends on, just nature and what's happening in the fields and the protein that it's producing this year. And so that's why, it could change a little bit. But yeah.
And here's the bag. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to it on the podcast, I do have, thanks to Cindy, she sent me some of her products, which are amazing. So I don't cook a lot with flour because I don't like the flour that we have here in the United States. But I did use this for my soft shell crab the other night, and I was very excited that it tasted delicious. So I'm really, when this came across my desk, I'm like, I was so intrigued with this product, and I mean that sincerely. Um, the question I have for you, and I love it, it's non-GMO, no bioengineering, no enrichments, non-bleached, no preservatives, no additives.
Yep.
A couple questions. What would be like, I know there's organic flour. Is this, organic, or you can't say it's organic, but it comes from um, sustainable farms? How does that?
Yeah, it's all very sustainable farming practices, the European high standards. So a few years ago, there was some legalities where it used to be where if something was certified European Union organic, then it would automatically be USDA organic because their standards are so high. Just their basic farming practices, even without their organic certification, are in my world in comparison even higher than our organic, just their basic ones.
Hmm.
And so, but there were some legalities that a few years ago the US started requiring additional certification
Mm.
for their or even organic ones to come over and then get the USDA organic. So it's not USDA organic, it is the European Union, incredibly strict and clean farming, sustainable practicing the organic farming. So yeah, it's amazing, but that's why we don't have, unfortunately, the organic on the label.
Right. Okay. That's good to know. And because there's no preservatives or additives in this, does this have to be just stored a certain way?
Not really. Some people do freeze it.
Oh,
Yeah, it
okay.
is super clean. Yeah, it's not bleached like so much of the US flour. So it's obviously it's a white flour, but it's not that stark white. because it
Mhm.
hasn't been through the bleaching. And so, yeah, it's just literally super clean, freshly milled flour. So, yeah, some people do, they'll put it in the freezer for a few days or keep it in the freezer. Any flour can go rancid. So, if you have it in the heat and it's exposed to that, that's always just proper food and, kind of flour safety and keeping and stuff. But aside from that, the European Union, like in Italy and stuff, they, I think their expiration on their flour, which they for years never even had an expiration date on flour, like it's still flour, it doesn't
Right.
have chemicals that are breaking it down while it's being stored and destroying it. So they for years never even had any expiration date. And I think just a few years ago, they put like a 7 year, I think it is, for retail uh, on their bags. So yeah, it's clean. It's from the farms. It's milled healthy. So yeah, if it gets heat exposure, it could go rancid, but that's true for pretty much any flour because
Anything,
it
right?
has all the additives and stuff in it.
I like the title at the top, European Heritage Wheat
Mm-hmm.
and the Good Gluten. So this is, I mean, the gluten part of gluten sensitivities, it's not necessarily the gluten that is causing the bloating, the inflammation, the fatigue, discomfort when you digest, you know. I know I get discomfort if I'm eating uh, any kind of bread that just, you can just tell it's just got terrible ingredients in it. So it's a different way. This is the European way, which you hear about all the time. So it's a way that they don't use the chemicals in their flour per se, or your flour that you are. So what do you think the chemicals and the way food is processed in the US could be playing a bigger role than more people realize and causing all of these symptoms in so many people?
Absolutely. I mean, and that's why like we call it the good gluten because it has gluten in it, but we're trying to change the conversation around being afraid of gluten because like you said, it's not the gluten per se that is the issue. Now, everybody's body, of course, is going to react different to different things, but some of the differences that are done in Europe versus here, back in the 50s, we zapped the seed with cobalt radiation, which actually changed the entire essence of the seed. And what it does is it produces a dwarf wheat. So it happened decades before genetic modification was actually a thing. So technically, it's not even genetically modified, but a lot of nutritionists consider it 1,000 times worse. And so it produces this dwarf wheat, which grows 3 to 4 feet tall versus a traditional heritage wheat stalk that's going to grow 5 to 6 feet tall. Well, it grows shorter, quicker, produces more wheat berries, so they have a higher yield. So it starts with that. And then our farming practices for so many years were not organic. Our fields are void of nutrients. The nutrients are what gives us that lasting energy that actually makes the wheat a complex carbohydrate. I have so many people who are diabetic who use our flour and our products because, as they tell us, it doesn't even fluctuate their blood sugar. That is how
Oh,
wheat should work in your body. When you used to be an athlete and like carb load, the day before, that's when you would eat a bowl of pasta and it wouldn't turn into a simple sugar. It would actually be beneficial to your body and give you long lasting energy. So the way that we mill it so fast generally, and we use metal machinery. And in that process, it can burn the kernel. And when it burns the kernel, it voids even the nutrients that are in it. And then it also increases the gluten anywhere from 50 to 500 fold its natural element. So you are getting this like huge amount of gluten versus a traditionally milled flour. We spray it with glyphosate. Like I know you've done a lot of
when you say we, you mean the United States.
correct. Yes,
Yes.
thank you for clarifying. Yes,
Yes.
the United States, North America, other farming practices outside of Europe. So here, exactly, yes, within North America, it's sprayed with the glyphosate. It's all these other chemicals. Even if it's organic farming, there's so much cross
Mm.
contamination, and the fields are already so void of nutrients that I haven't found, unfortunately, any North American flour that I still don't get sick from, even freshly milled or anything else. And I think that's because there are so many different steps and elements along the way that can create the inflammation, the damage, the headaches, the bloating and diarrhea, Hashimoto's. I have a ton
Mhm.
of customers who have Hashimoto's
Mhm.
disease, and they normally can't touch any wheat. But I've heard from so many that they eat all of our products and they feel fabulous. Does not affect them at all. They feel great. So unfortunately, there's a whole ladder of steps that has been done and is being done to what in North America, the majority of the time is happening to our wheat content. So
Go back to the beginning. You said something about that intrigued me a little bit about how they put what they did something to the crop to make them grow shorter and faster. What was it? Did you say that was from the 1940s? I can't remember
yeah, it was
now.
the 19, I think, 50s, and
50s.
they actually zapped the seed with cobalt radiation. So
So
they literally changed it from the seed, the whole essence of it, to create a whole new plant. So similar to genetically modified, but it was, like I said, technically before that was actually a thing. And so a lot of nutritionists consider it so much worse because, yeah, it completely changed.
wow.
So, yeah. So, like with genetic modification, we're trying to get a higher yield. We're trying to get it more
Mhm.
resistant to, bugs. And
Bugs.
what can we spray on it to preserve it and dry it out so we can process it longer? What can, grow quicker and have, like we keep saying, more yield, more money. And so that's where it started was for the purpose of that, what creating a crop that can grow quick with a higher yield. But in the meantime, it changed the natural essence of what that wheat plant is.
So I'm through my head, I'm thinking, is there, are there, I'm sure there are reports. Are there any documentaries about our wheat industry and how terrible it is? And I'm just curious, because now I want to learn more. I always
Yeah.
want to know more about the back end of things. Like, how did we get to where we are today? I love history, and that just opens up my eyes. And if anybody's listening, open up your eyes to all products on the market we have to be cautious of because we don't know where did it come from. And hearing your story, hearing the story on wheat and where it came from, it makes so much sense how toxic basically some of this flour is that is being manufactured here in the United States and what they're putting in it. And I mean, it just makes sense that people are getting gluten intolerance and bloated and Hashimoto's and many other, there's so many chemicals that people are now not just putting on their skin,
Mm-hmm.
breathing in the air, but the food that we eat. I mean, it's so sad to me. And that's why I do this podcast, Cindy. I
I
told
know.
you
I love it.
I
Thank you.
do it because I try to open up people's eyes. This opened up my eyes too. I mean, I knew I was always skeptical of any flour, any bread. I'm very cautious, but this even made me more aware of what's going on because obviously you have studied it and you know what is going on in our food industry when it comes to flour and what is out there because it's not good per
Yes.
se.
Yeah.
So the good gluten, I love that. Did you come up with the good gluten title?
Yes. Yes. It's
And
kind of
that's
a play on like the good fat, good sugar, bad
yeah,
sugar.
yeah,
Because at one point in time, we thought, oh, fat is bad. And it's like, no, it's actually not. There's good
yep,
cholesterol, bad cholesterol.
right.
So the term gluten itself is not a bad word. So yeah, kind of catchphrasing that, the good gluten, we're trying to change the conversation around gluten and the way people think. So yeah, exactly. It's not bad fat, bad sugar, bad gluten. There is good in these different elements that our bodies need to thrive.
I wish restaurants would um, say they use Good Gluten or Manny's Choice flour for their for their cooking, because I would be much more uh, tolerable of, ordering something on the menu or eating that bread that they put on your plate. Uh, and I feel
Actually,
like so much more education has to be done out
I
there.
agree. I agree. And I love diving into it and everything. And we actually do have a few restaurants who use our products. Too bad you're not out here in the Pacific Northwest. There's a couple of bakers who make sourdough bread with it and sell it exclusively with our flour. We've got a couple of cookie companies. We had a pizza company. So yeah, there's a number of different companies that are starting to discover it. And so, yeah, getting into food service is a whole nother kind of avenue with the company, but that is definitely something that we are exploring and want to grow even more in the next couple of years.
Oh, good. I know you have that entrepreneurial background, spirit, education. So I hope you can take this bigger and grander and push some of those other big time flour companies off the shelf. And
Make people feel fabulous.
yes,
Like
yes,
the is right.
exactly.
How you feel is just, yeah.
And people don't even know sometimes that they feel horrible
Mhm.
until they actually try something different
Yep.
and get off that gluten and try, they don't know they feel terrible until they actually feel better
Right.
from eating, something that is more natural and less chemicals or no chemicals. And
Right.
why do you think some people can tolerate it and some people can't? Like I can tolerate like a piece of pizza. I don't love eating it, but I can tolerate it if it's just, from wherever. Sometimes I just have to because I'm starving and I'm at an event and that's all they have or whatnot. But I just always wondered, like my sister can't tolerate it, but I can.
Well, so I think there's a lot of factors that go into that. And, at one point in time, I could tolerate it fine.
Right.
My, different, so everybody's kind of on a different physical journey. And what I see as likely the issue is and this is a maybe I think it's a very clear analysis, but a little controversial. The way I see it is wheat for the majority of what we consume within North America, it's kind of like smoking a cigarette. So if you're a smoker, you may be like, hey, you shouldn't have that because it's damaging your body. And you're like, no, I can run 3 miles, no problem. I used to live down south back 20 years ago, and we were huge into health and working out, bodybuilder friends and everything. And then as soon as they get done, they put a little tobacco in or have a smoke. Well, I'm healthy. It's fine. It's not actually affecting me. I'm working out. I'm this and that. I can breathe fine. Well, really, are you? Is any cigarette actually healthy, or is it damaging a little bit at a time? And so you may not feel the damage right away or as much because I think it's accumulating. And the more that you consume something with chemicals or damage, the more that you intake, the more it's going to continue to damage. So, I didn't used to get sick, but I think my system all along, as I ate more and more, it kept getting a little more damaged, a little more damaged, a little more damaged. And then at one point, I was just kind of, not feeling good. I was feeling a little arthritic. I, was bloating. And then those symptoms just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse because I'm still consuming what's causing all the damage. And, so it's accumulating in my body. And so I think that that's kind of what's happening with a lot of our wheat products is it depends on where your body actually is in how much you've consumed, what's going on. I personally don't think any amount is healthy because of all the things that they've done to it. So while a person might smoke a cigarette and say I feel fine, whatever, well, is that actually really healthy for your body or doing you any good, or is it causing micro amounts of harm that at one point you're going to see likely a problem from?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And the having I wish people could see how the wheat is produced that is sold on the shelves here, I don't think they would be buying it.
Yeah.
But learning the process, I just sit here and try to visualize, just even the bleaching effect of it. When I opened up the Manny's Choice, I was like, oh my God, this is what flour should look like, not white flour. That's not what flour is. That's not what wheat is. So it was very exciting to me when I could use it, and I might even try baking some other things with it.
Yay.
I know I love cooking. I'm not a baker,
That's
but
so
I will.
awesome.
I'm going to cook something. So, okay, there's so many different ways people can reduce their exposure to chemicals from food. Any other simple changes you want to give people advice on?
I just like to tell people to, a lot of times, when people kind of come to an awareness of, like the wheat products or, all these different things that unfortunately in our common everyday world are so harmful, it can become overwhelming, especially when
Totally.
you're diagnosed with cancer and now you really like, oh my gosh, now I have to pay attention. It can be extremely overwhelming, but, small changes can make big effects on your life and your body. So I try to encourage people not to get overwhelmed, to keep it simple, to start looking into one or two things. Just read your labels. Can you pronounce the ingredients that are in the products? So, yeah, not only is our flour like 100% European and as clean as we can find, but all of our baking mixes. We want to make it really convenient for people because not everybody has time to obviously cook bread from scratch or products from scratch. So we have right now 6 baking mixes, and our goal is to come out with kind of your whole pantry go-tos. So like a chocolate cake mix and a yellow cake mix and all of those.
Love
So
it.
our thank you. Yeah. So because we want people to be able to eat clean but still convenient and
Right.
fit in their lifestyles. But yeah, so all our baking mixes, I like to say that our ingredients are like they came out of your grandma's pantry 50 years ago, but with our European wheat. And so, I looked at like we have a sugar cookie mix for the holidays and stuff. And I looked at another common one on the shelves, and it had 47 ingredients
Oh,
in it. And of course, half of them
oh,
you can't even pronounce. Yeah. So our sugar cookie mix has 9 ingredients, I believe. And you know what they all are. So, yeah, we are trying really hard to make it easy for people who are trying to make changes and get the chemicals out of their body and put the clean, pure food into their bodies to have products to help them along that journey. And so, yeah, so I just try to tell people to keep it simple, read the labels, and just do one step at a time.
best advice is what I always tell people, exactly what you said. Read your labels and know your ingredients. Turn it around, look at those ingredients, right? Whether it's flour or shampoo or lotion or deodorant or cleaning supplies, whatever the case may be, it's going into your body somehow, some way, and you want to prevent that as much as possible. So I love that you brought that up. Okay, one other thing. You also sent me a brownie mix, right?
Yes,
Which
yes.
I can't wait to try. And so I just want to let everybody know there's brownie mix out there too. How perfect is that? I mean, and especially for kids, I think about, we're adults, we're a little bit more, our bodies are a little bit more able to fight some things off, but little kids, brownie mix per se, cookies, whatever, um, their organs are still developing.
Yeah.
And putting these chemicals in their bodies, we don't know how it's affecting them. And they're just trying to be kids and grow up and have a healthy life. So this is something else you can do for your children and your grandchildren, and making sure that they're eating desserts and breads and whatnot without all these additives and chemicals. So, okay. And did I miss anything? Did you want to bring up anything else?
Oh, so yeah, yeah, just along with like the brownies. So we do have like brownies and sugar cookie mix because I believe that yes, you're gonna eat sweets from time to time,
Sure.
but it still should be as clean as possible. So for everyday stuff, we have a no knead artisan bread mix that all you do is add water and it
Oh,
makes
that's for me.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I should have sent you one of those. I'll send you
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, all you do is add water and you can add herbs to it or shredded cheese or whatever you want. Makes a beautiful artisan loaf. We have pancake and waffle mix. So we're trying to come out with all your staple items. But also when you do, your kids have a get together and you want to make the brownies or make some sugar cookies, you still need an option where not everybody wants to do it from scratch, where you can pull out a healthy bag of whatever that is and then share it with your family and your kids and your friends and whatnot. Yeah, so yeah, our goal, we're excited for this next year and following to all the products that we have kind of lined up to come out with to really be your pantry go-to items that you don't have to feel bad about eating and feeding your family.
Yeah, which often I feel bad about feeding and eating bread that's here. And now I'm going to start making my own bread, I guess.
Yeah. Oh,
I
thank you.
love it. I love
Artisan
it.
bread.
I know. I think it's great. So you can go and get 15% off of her website for a one-time use for off of a regular priced item on the website. And the website is very easy. Manny's, that's plural, Manny's choiceflour.com. And the 15% off is green 15, but that'll be in the show notes. And you can also follow Manny's Choice on Facebook under Manny's Choice. She's also on LinkedIn, YouTube as well. On your YouTube channel, I didn't get a chance to pull that up, Cindy. Do recipes? What does it consist of on the YouTube?
The YouTube we don't have highly developed. It's kind of
Okay.
just starting in the work. So we have some recipes on there. We have different clips. I've been on some new shows and TV segments and stuff. So it's a mix of a lot of things that we have going on. The podcast, and if they're live like this, we'll put them on there. So it's really a mix of kind of everything that's happening with Manny's Choice. So from the recipes to the research and the podcast and everything.
Awesome. No TikTok yet, huh?
There, no, we do have TikTok, and that's also kind of we're just kind of getting
Developing.
into it. Yeah, we've got a lot of influencers, which has been fabulous, who have actually contacted us and said, "Hey, we've heard about your flour, and I believe in this. Can I, try it?" And so we're starting to have some amazing influencers on TikTok who are using our stuff. So we haven't personally developed it too much at this point. It's in the plans to continue to post on there more, but it's been really fun to see different influencers who are posting our products and using our products with their accounts and stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. What about some, there's so many famous chefs out there. A friend of mine actually just won the Fox on Thursday night. We went to the reveal party that he won, which he found out in March he won, but he won the top elite. I forgot what it's called now. But I think about all these chefs out there. I
mhm.
mean, to use this product as opposed to just commercial USA flour, it just makes the food so much better, let alone making us feel better too.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if the Food Network, they need
Yeah.
you.
Oh, that would be awesome. I know. Yeah, and like we're trying to expand the food service line. Yeah, for chefs and stuff. We do have a number of chefs who use our product because of just even alone the taste, the flavor profile is amazing.
Right.
And that comes from, like we had kind of mentioned before or earlier, that the flavor profile is because of the nutrients that are in the wheat. And so it's kind of like an heirloom tomato to a GMO tomato.
Right.
They might look exactly the same. Milled wheat might look the same, but even the flavor alone is worlds different because that heirloom tomato is loaded in nutrients. That's actually what gives it the flavor. And that's the same as our flour. And like when you cooked making the crabs, like it was amazing
Hmm.
flavor because it is nutrient dense. So
Yes.
yeah, we do have a number of chefs who are using our products just because of that. And so yeah, in the next couple of years, we hope to get a lot more taking it on and expanding that.
I love it. Well, you're doing great stuff. I congratulate you. You've gone through a lot in your own personal life and helping other people learn from what you had to experience, and also gave us this great product that we all can buy. Okay, buying it. I didn't mention. Where can they buy it?
So online at
Is
mannyschoiceflour.com.
that it?
Yep, we ship internationally.
Okay.
Out in the Pacific Northwest, we're in like Market of Choice stores. They've like a number of, it's a chain out here, a number of specialty stores. We're just getting onto fair. So for anybody who is a wholesale buyer, that's a great place because we've had much request for like other stores in New York and stuff to carry our
Hmm.
flour. So fair is going to help to give them that option. So right now, yeah, if you're a general consumer, online is a great place. We ship, like I said, internationally. We just shipped to Japan some, like a
I
whole
love
box
it.
people ordered. I know it was awesome. So we ship internationally. If you're not in the Pacific Northwest and can get it at one of the chain stores out here or the local stores that we're in, then yeah, online is the best option.
To maybe someday you can have a page of what restaurants use your
Yes.
product, because I would go right there when I'm wherever
Yep.
traveling and say, "Oh, we gotta go there. They use Manny's choice flour. We know that we can eat the bread there." So
Yes. Awesome. Yep. Yep. That would be
yeah,
amazing. We love that.
and maybe, and then my next thing is to get some restaurants here in Buffalo, New York, to use your flour. So I will
Yay.
be promoting that locally for you as well. Cindy, great to meet you. I look forward to connecting with you down the road because I know you're going to be doing great things and bigger and better things. And I wish you all the success and luck in the future. And thanks for caring about what food we eat and providing consumers with a fabulous product that is just phenomenal. So I congratulate you and thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And yeah, I like I said, I love what you're doing too. It's so important that everything in your environment to what you put in your body to make you live your best life and enjoy your life.
That's right. We want to live long as we can and be healthy too. So, again, read your ingredients and know your labels and buy Manny's Choice flour. So, you have a great day, Cindy. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.